Good day, my dear students, parents, and everyone. I am Mr. Samudi Wahdan, an English language teacher working for Wadi Anwar Secondary School. Today we are going to explain Unit 5, Lesson 2. As we already know that Unit 5 speaks about work and play, and we have here Lesson 2, making and spending money. We can say that we can divide this lesson into three major parts. The first part is going to be vocabulary, which is word builder. The second part is going to be speaking and listening. And unfortunately, unless you are not here, so it's going to be just listening. The last part is going to be grammar. So let's start from the very beginning here. The lesson's title is Making and Spending Money. Means how to make or how to get money and how to spend it, and maybe how to invest it. Word builder, finances, and finances because these words are related to finance. Match words from 1 to 7 with a definition from A to G. And there's an example has been done for you. So to put money in a safe place, a bank, for example, so that you will have enough in the future perhaps to buy a car or an apartment means save. So to save money means to put money in a safe place, like bank and these things. A, money earned by a business or investment after deducting expenses. That's what we call profit. That's what we call profit. So the profit is the money earned by business or investment after deducting expenses. To make money from a competition means win. So when you win money means that you have made this money from a competition. Money lost in a business, project, or investment. Money lost in a business, project, or investment means loss. So that way you have lost money. To make money from work or investment is to earn money. Money you have that you can put into a business, project, or investment. So this money you already have and you want to maybe start a project or something like that. This means capital. To put money into a bank or company to earn more money means that you are going to invest your money. So investing money means to put money into a bank or a company to earn more money. Now then, exercise number B. Complete sentences using appropriate form of word from the list in exercise 1A. This exercise. So you are going to use these words here, completing these gaps down there. 1. Many people try to space money in competitions. So once we say competition, we mean winning. So when you have money out of a competition or something like that, we call you won money. So here will be win. Many people try to win money in competitions. Those who are successful often spend it immediately, but sensible people space and ethical Sharia regulated accounts. Ethical Sharia regulated accounts means bank accounts or something like that, but in an Islamic way or Sharia way. So here they are going to invest or trying to invest their money. And remember that these words, we are taking them out of exercise A and exercise 1. Number 2, the safest way to space money is through a bank saving or deposit account. So the safest way to save money for sure, as we have already known here, that saving money is putting money in a safe place. The basic idea of business is to invest your what? Capital. So if you have a capital, I mean a sum of money, and you want to make your own project, your own thing, this calls investing. So here invest. The basic idea of business is to invest capital to invest capital and make a good profit Number 4, there is always an element of risk in business. And instead of earning money, you may take a loss, and that's natural. Okay, that's fine. So, how to complete this exercise is by knowing these new words by heart, know what do they mean, and use them down there. The next exercise is going to be speaking and listening. You are going to listen to a track about an interview. This interview is about money, and practice speaking maybe at home. Let's start. Exercise A, listen to a radio interview about money. What's the main subject of the interview? So we are going to listen to this track to know what is the main subject of the interview. And using your cell phone in an easy way, you can just open your camera, turn it on, and just focus on this barcode here. Okay, now then open this link up there. And by the way, I want to thank the Ministry of Education very much for helping us doing this. And now then you can find speaking, listening, AB. You just press it. When you press on, just here,
Unit 5,
okay.
Lesson 2.
Today, I have with me in the studio Dr. Paul Meredith, a finance specialist and author of a new book, Making the Most of Your Money. Paul, tell us about your book.
Well, it's really all about people who have suddenly made large sums of money, maybe by winning a competition, or because the money was left to them by a relative who recently died.
And I understand that this is not always a good thing.
No, it isn't. In a large number of cases, the money that was gained was lost again in a year or two.
Why is that?
The main reason is that many of these people make no investment plans. They just spend and spend. If the money is invested before it is spent, then the capital can earn enough for them to live comfortably, or at least more comfortably, for life.
Why don't these people invest?
They've probably never had money to invest before, and their first reaction to getting a large and unexpected sum of money is to buy things they've dreamed of. A nice house, an expensive car, jewelry.
I imagine a lot of money can be spent quite quickly like that.
Yes, sometimes very quickly. And to make matters worse, some people give up their jobs. This means that in the end, they are in a worse position than before they had the money.
So, what's your advice, Paul?
Invest as soon as possible. But even before that, get a good accountant.
Okay. As we have just listened, that interview is about money. So the whole thing is about money. How can you get money? How can you spend money? How can you invest money? And they are saying that if you gain money easily in an easy way, you are going to spend it easily. But they advise you to invest money. And I advise you as well to listen to this track again and try to speak with your brother or any of your family members. Now then, let's go to the last part of the lesson, which is the grammatical part. spending money. The last exercise is the grammatical one, so we are going to speak about grammar right now. Here we are going to speak about the passive, or different forms of the passive. And before explaining passive to you, I'd like to explain active, because you have to know active before knowing passive. Active. The active voice is the regular sentence which contains subject, verb, and object. This is the normal structure of the simple sentence: subject, verb, and object. If we say Ahmed, for example, eats an apple. This is the first example. The second one, Ahmed ate an apple. The third one, Ahmed will eat an apple. These are different forms of the verb here. We can see here eats, ate, and will eat. For sure you know that eats is in the present simple tense, and ate is in the past. Will eat is in the future. We can write down here present simple, past simple, and future simple for sure. Future simple. Okay. Now then, if you look at these examples, you will recognize that the active voice, we focus on the subject. We focus on the person, the doer of this action. We do not focus on the object. So the most important thing here in active voice is the subject, not the object. On the other hand, when we speak about passive, we concentrate on the object instead of the subject. We focus on the thing which is already done. We do not focus on the doer, the agent, the one who did this thing. So, we have many steps to follow to sort this out. To change this active voice to the passive voice. First of all, I'd like you to concentrate very well. I want you to divide the sentence into 3 parts, or 3 major parts. The first part is going to be the subject. The second part is going to be the verb. And the third part is going to be the object. When you want to change the active voice to the passive voice, you have to concentrate on this part. So when I say concentrate, it means that you have to put this part in the very beginning of the sentence. So we are going to say an apple. An apple. Now then, this is the most important part of this, which is the verb. Because turning the active voice into a passive voice is depending on the tense. So if it is in the present simple tense, you have to change it into the present simple passive. And if it is in the past simple tense, you are going to change it into the past simple passive. And if it is the future, you are going to turn it into the future passive. The first step we have already done is putting the object at the very beginning of the sentence, focus on it, and then using verb to be. Using verb to be. We all know that be means and is, and are. In the passive case, we just need those two verbs out of the verb be. Is and are. So, if the original sentence, the active voice sentence is in the present, you are going to use it this way. Is or are, depending on the subject. But if it is in the past tense, you are going to move these two verbs into past. Was or when. Was or when. Otherwise, in the last sentence, if you are going to speak about the future, something will be done in the future, you are going to use the auxiliary verb or the helping verb, and you have to put be after it. So it will be will be. After doing this step, you are going to the last step maybe, which is the past participle. The past participle of the verb. So, after putting your subject at the very beginning of the sentence, you are going to use the verb to be at the same tense which is in the active voice. So, if it is in the present simple tense, you are going to use the present simple passive here. If it is in the past simple tense, you are going to use the past simple passive here. If it is in the future simple tense here, you are going to use the future passive here. So following these rules, we'll solve this out. And it's easy. So, an apple. An apple is a singular subject. It's not plural. So we are going to use is as we are speaking about this sentence, which is in the present simple tense. So first of all, we are going to put this is. So an apple is. Then we have to use the past participle of the main verb in the sentence, which is eat. And as all of you know, that eat as infinitive becomes ate, as past simple becomes eaten. And the past participle. We need this form, the past participle, the third form of the verb. So an apple is eaten. An apple is eaten. And if we do the doer of the action, we have to write by here. So an apple is eaten by somebody. If we know him or her, we are going to write down his name. Here we know him. He is Ahmed. So Ahmed eats an apple in an active voice. When we move it to the passive voice, will be an apple is eaten by Ahmed. Okay? Is it easy? Fine. The next one, sentence number 2. Ahmed ate an apple. Here we are speaking in the past simple tense. So we have to use it in the past simple passive. We are going to put this object here. And the first part will be a subject. So an apple again. An apple. But because here it is in the past simple tense, we are going to move it to the past simple passive. We are going to use was, otherwise use where. Unless it's singular here, we are going to use was for sure. Was. So an apple was, and we are going to use the past participle tense, which is eaten. And we are going to do the same thing, which is by. The last example we have here is Ahmed will eat an apple. We are speaking about the future, so we are going to move it into the passive voice in the future. And in the future, you will use will and be. Will be, can be, could be, shall be, should be, must be, and these things you know them. So we're going to say an apple, will be before using the past participle. An apple will be eaten by the agent. The agent is the one who did the action, the doer of the action. An apple will be eaten by Ahmed. I hope that you have understood this because it's very easy. So a quick look on it. We have two major things. The first thing is active voice. The second thing is passive voice. Moving or turning or changing active voice into passive voice, we are doing some major steps, moving those parts or reorganizing them. It's easy to be done. Here in the active voice, the subject is in the very beginning, the object is at the very end of the sentence, and we have a verb. And this is the simplest or the most simple thing to be done. Now then, we have some exercises here in our book, and we want to have a look here and to sort this out. Will you please come and have a look? So here in this exercise, grammar builder, passives, present, past, future, and model. And what he means here by models, like will, would, shall, should, can, could, and these things. As we have just mentioned that present passive, we are going to use, let's do it here, present passive. We are going to use subject and verb to be in the present, which is or are. Then the past participle. The past participle. Then if we know the agent of this action, we are going to write by and then the agent. Okay? If the sentence is in the past, will be subject, but here will be was or were as the past form of the verb to be. And then the past participle, and if we know the doer of the action, the agent will be down here. Fine. If it is in the future, will be will plus be, will be, and the past participle. Let's go ahead and solve this exercise out. Here, he wants you to look at the sentences below and underline the verb construction. The first one is done for you. Number one, sometimes thousands of dollars are won by one person. Are won. Here, this part shows us that this sentence is in the passive voice. Number two, the main prize was won by 29-year-old man. So we shall underline this, was won. The fortune was lost again in a year or two. Financial advice will be provided to all winners. $10,000 can be spent, can be. This is a model, can. So in case of models, you have to put be. Like this part here will be in the future tense. The money should be. This is also a model. So he has just mentioned two models which are can and should. You have to put be after them. Now then, exercise number B, complete the paragraph below using the verbs in brackets. We are going to use those verbs between brackets and concentrate in such a question because maybe they are not all in a passive voice. Maybe they are in active, maybe in passive. Let's see. What was then the tallest tower in the world? Opened by the brains of Wales on March 31st, 1889. As we notice here that the prince who did that action is not at the very beginning of the sentence. He is at the end of the sentence. So this is a passive voice. He started with the tallest tower and ends with the doer of the action. So it's clear that it is a passive voice. Using this verb between brackets depending on the tense of the sentence. What is the tense of this sentence? What was then the tallest tower in the world, opened by the brains of Wales on March 31st, 1889. That was a very long time ago. So it's clear that it is in the past. So we are going to use the passive voice in the past. So following the rules which we have just clarified before, we are going to write was because the tower is singular, and we have to put the past participle of this verb, which is opened, as it is a regular verb. As I explained to you before, that getting the past form of the regular verb is by adding ed. Actually, d, ed, or ied, but let's say ed is the major thing. The Eiffel Tower, built for the international exhibition of Paris at cost of $1.5 million and still 300 meters tall. So, the Eiffel Tower, is the Eiffel Tower the doer of the action? No, it is not. So, it's a passive voice. Is it already built? Yes, long time ago. So we have to use the past passive, unless the Eiffel Tower is a singular, so we have write was, and then the past participle of the verb build is built. And build is an irregular verb. If you don't know the past participle of this verb, just go to the back side of your student's book, page 78. You are going to find some good irregular verbs. You have to know them. 78, 78, 77, 78. Fine. Here. So if you want to have a look, build, where's the verb build? Build is here. Build, build, build. We need this form, the past participle form, build. Gustav Eiffel's design, choose from over 700 proposals. Oh, okay, so we are now speaking about a design. We are not speaking about the man who did this action. We are speaking about the thing which has been done. Right. So it's a passive voice, clear that it is a passive voice. We are going to use was because design is a singular, so we are going to use was, and the past participle form of the verb choose, which is chosen. And once again, if you don't know the past participle of a verb, just go back to page 78. For example, this one is choose, choose, chose, chosen. So we need this form, chosen, fine. Although not everyone accepted at first. So everyone, not everyone, means that it is an active voice. And unless this action happened a long time ago, we are going to just use the past form of the verb accept, will be accepted. 2.5 million steel rivets. So those are plural, big amount. Not only one rivet, it's 2.5 million steel rivets were used in its construction, and the tower weighed approximately 7,000 tons. This remains till today. The weight of the tower is about 7,000 tons. It's not a thing happened in the past and finished, no. So it's a present simple tense. It's a case. It remains as it is. So weights will be like this, weights, unless it is a present simple tense. Today, the tower visit. Do you think that the tower can visit someone? Or someone can visit the tower? So it's clear that it is a passive voice. The tower is singular, so we have to put is here. The tower is visited as the main formation of this tense is using verb to be plus the past participle. As we have mentioned before, that will and can, we use be after them, and gaps for you to sort out and send them back to me. We're going to contact in our YouTube channel. If you have any comments and anything to say, I'm waiting your replies down there, down the video, I mean. Thank you very much for listening.